High spots and cheap pops, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Silicon One, Steve Valli, and we are just hours away from the second annual Winter is Coming from AEW. And if we can go by last year's Winter is Coming, obviously the monstrous debut of Sting in AEW, and of course Kenny Omega unseating Jon Moxley as AEW World Champion. So a little bit a lot to live up to if you go by last year's KPIs and events that happened. And obviously Kenny Omega wound up having one of the great historic title runs that we'll ever see in the business. And obviously Sting has been as good as you would expect a 63-year-old man to be. And he's been outstanding. So it was a monstrous kind of a new beginning last year. Many people feel like a lot of things are going to happen that's similar. On the plate here tonight at AEW Winter is Coming is obviously Bryan Danielson will challenge Hangman Adam Page. Hangman making his very first title defense since beating Kenny at Full Gear. This one is not a slam dunk. Usually you would think with the storyline and everything that Hangman did, you would think slam dunk, he's going to defend the championship successfully. And maybe he will. And that's going to be my pick. I think Hangman's actually going to win, and we're going to get into why. Hangman and Bryan Danielson. First of all, Bryan Danielson has been booked beautifully. He is a bad motherfucker, and I don't mind saying it. Absolutely a bad motherfucker. And he has really just taken everybody to the limit. He went 30 minutes with Kenny, which was, I mean, geez, you talk about an AEW debut. God, one of the greatest matches ever. And then he's gone out and successfully had these clinics week after week after week. And he's not this underdog pussy that he was in WWE. He's a badass dude. No matter his size, he can go out there, out wrestle you, and hurt you badly. And I think that's kind of what he always wanted to do. And now you go up against, and now he pseudo turned heel when he started making fun of Virginia and started calling out the Dark Order, started beating the shit out of the Dark Order every single week. Bryan Danielson has kind of showed a little disrespect to Hangman. He's beat up his friends. But it's been mostly about Bryan Danielson just beating the shit out of people and taking names, where Hangman hasn't even had a match since he's won the title. Hangman hasn't done the work inside the ring, and I think he doesn't look like a very empathetic figure right now. He hasn't looked great in this feud, I have to be honest with you. So if he wins this is going to have to be I do think he's going to win. I don't think they're going to take the title off of him. But he might. But I don't think so. I think Hangman wins this one, and I think the story that they have tried to tell, which I don't think they've done a successful job at, is the fact that Bryan Danielson is disrespecting Hangman. He doesn't think Hangman is worthy to be in the ring with him. He wants to see how good Hangman is. He thinks he's going to walk all over Hangman. That's the story I think they're trying to tell. They haven't told it very well, though. I have to be honest. I love AEW. Don't disrespect, but we call it right down the middle here on High Spots and Cheap Pops. Silicon Steve Valli is as honest as the day is long. I'm rich. Anyway, so I have to critique that this build to this match has been all about Bryan Danielson and about the Dark Order. Really not so much about Hangman Adam Page as much as it should be. It should be about, I believe they could have had a couple more promos where Hangman is still trying to prove himself despite Hangman still trying to prove himself despite just beating Kenny. He's still trying to prove himself. Bryan Danielson is still saying he's not really legit. He's surprised and disappointed it was you. I wanted it to be Kenny because it would be a better match. He's a better opponent. They should have played that part up a little more rather than Bryan Danielson just being a dick and beating the shit out of the Dark Order because he can. All that being said, I think that's where the story they tried to tell. So I think the ending of this is going to be Bryan Danielson's going to lose, and then he's going to do the babyface handshake at the end. So Bryan Danielson, to me, is a tweener, and he has not gone out of the heel tunnel yet. He's been coming out of the babyface tunnel the entire time. That's something that might be a little subtle, little hint, but I think Bryan Danielson loses tonight. Babyface handshake at the end that you earn my respect. Tonight be the night that Windham Rotunda, FKA, Bray Wyatt making his AEW debut tonight. The buzz is all about. Tony Khan has said that we are going to have a lot of awesome debuts, not just at Winter is Coming, but the next several weeks. So tonight we are going to get a debut or two, folks. We might get two, but at least one. If you had to ask me, I would say it would be Windham Rotunda, but it could be Kyle O'Reilly. It could even be Johnny Gargano. I don't think Gargano is going to be active until he has his child. But I should say his wife has his child. Right? Down with the patriarchy. Anyways. So I don't think we're going to see Gargano tonight by any stretch. Also, he's not directly related to Adam Cole. I know they feuded and all that, but Kyle O'Reilly, he could thrust him right in to this weird storyline happening with the Young Bucks, Cole, and Bobby Fish. You had Kyle O'Reilly, then you have obviously you have the Undisputed Era reunited, and then you have the Young Bucks, and those two tag teams can fight for their soul, for Adam Cole's soul. And I think at the end of that, Adam Cole turns on O'Reilly and Fish. That's my opinion, because I think they have bigger plans for Cole and Kenny down the road in terms of how the Elite is going to progress. So that's the thing. But I think we'll see Kyle O'Reilly within the next couple weeks. But tonight, I am predicting we're going to see Bray Wyatt, formerly Bray Wyatt, Windham Rotunda, and we're going to finally see what he's been working on for so long. I mean, he's been working on this character. We know what happened the last time he went away and worked on a character. He came back with something that was a game changer, then subsequently ruined and destroyed because of horrible creative. But it was a game changer. And it's going to be really awesome to see that guy back on television, because he is a generational talent. So Windham Rotunda, I salute you. I hope you show up tonight, but we'll see. I'll be watching with a bated breath. Never mind. I was going to go to a masturbation joke, but we're trying to get a little older, a little more mature, not go for the shock value bullshit. But seriously, I'll probably jerk off. Anyway, other things for Winter is Coming tonight. We have MJF going up against Dante Martin. Love to talk about the Dante Martin swerve last week. I thought it was brilliant. We did a quick little Dynamite review last week, but really, Impaler has been really taking care of a lot of stuff with his family and his business. So, hey, look, January 21st is going to be the launching date. That is the tentative launching date, but the Impaler and myself are having a monster meeting tomorrow. We're also going to do a live podcast together tomorrow. Going to be a fantastic time. And we are going to discuss the future of High Spots and Cheap Pops. We are going to be a game-changing news organization over the next decade. We really want to be something that also, not even a news organization, we want to bring entertainment to them. We want to bring comedy. We're going to be doing comedy bits, weekly professional wrestling comedy bits, because, whoa! So, that being said, we didn't touch on it last week. We have to talk about Dante Martin and the big swerve. He had a surprising free agent signing by Team Taz when they signed Dante Martin. Dante Martin comes up the next week, seemingly dressed up with black and orange colors, seemingly working with members of Team Taz, Hobbs, obviously, and Absolute Ricky Starks. And then when it's the two members of Team Taz versus MJF, we're going to get into him in a second. MJF, Dante Martin turns on Team Taz, eliminates Absolute Ricky Starks, and rips off the FTW armband, and we have Dante Martin and MJF in the finals. I am legitimately excited. And how far has this kid Dante Martin come in just a short period of time, folks? I mean, it's incredible. We do need a little bit more personality out of him, but in ring, the guy's golden, and they put him in a position where he's making interesting storyline. Because if you're in a good enough storyline, and you have enough characters around you, because I think that's what's so great about Dante and Leo, they can play off of that. He doesn't need to have a boisterous personality right away. He's good enough in the ring. If you surround him with talented but very well defined and boisterous and colorful characters, Dante Martin can flourish. And you saw that. Brilliant job of booking. The young kid, the 19 or 20-year-old kid, gets one over on Taz, a 30, 40-year veteran or however long he's been in the business. So it was a beautiful, absolute beautiful swerve. Surprised all of us. The whole thing about that was a surprise. It's a cool little wrinkle on a mid-carder. That's the difference. That's something really good, really well-booked professional wrestling. Gets you interested and invested in the mid-card. I'm very much invested in this Dante Wright MJF match now. It's great. And you're going to have two of the best young talents in AEW go at it tonight for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. I do assume MJF does win unless CM Punk does the rare cause a match to lose. I could see that, and Dante Martin I could see them doing something like that. But I don't necessarily think that's going to happen because, well, maybe though. Because then if you think about it, this is off the top of my head and I'm thinking about it. MJF has won with the Dynamite Diamond Ring several times. 2 huge matches, and not 3. He's used that Dynamite Diamond Ring as his finisher, essentially. I know the last one was a leg headlock overtake, but what have you. I feel like they wouldn't do it that often if there wasn't going to be a payoff where he tries to use it and it backfires on him. And I think that's going to happen against CM Punk. So I think because of that, I think MJF wins this match. Now let's talk about MJF and what happened last week. If you didn't hear our podcast, it's on Spotify and there's a video chasing around somewhere. The Impaler specifically said MJF was going to be huge in Long Island. And I was like, are you kidding me? Dude, he's hated. No one likes him. MJF, when he said he was going to be like Piper in Portland, Brett in Canada, I thought he was full of shit. But this kid created his own reality, and he had an entire arena turned heel. CM Punk booed out of the building, and boy, did he love being a heel. This feud has been every bit it could have been. They haven't disappointed one step of the way. Which, by the way, little side note, it makes it laughable what they're trying to do with Miz and Edge on the other show. Laughable. Edge, by the way, I hope that mid-card is going to be real nice to you because that's where you are now. Congratulations. Anyways, MJF turned the entire arena heel. They were all in on MJF, even when... And the way MJF during that entire Battle Royal played to the crowd, and the way they had the Battle Royal told all these different little stories. Their Battle Royals, I hated Battle Royals until AEW's Battle Royals. Despised them. Now, every one of their Battle Royals tells many stories in different factions at all times, and they always have a little wrinkle to them. So let's give it up, because I used to just not fast forward every time I saw a Battle Royal. I actually, to be truthful, I fast forwarded a couple of the early AEW Battle Royals. But their Battle Royals now have been great. And the character work MJF did, hiding behind war, being the complete piece of shit heel he is, but getting pops for it left and right, was one of the most incredible phenomena I ever seen in professional wrestling. And I've been watching since 1985. 1985, and I've never seen something like that. The Canada thing you get when Brett was the heel and he was cheered over in Canada because there was a specific division. But it's really the same thing. MJF said nothing. He said nothing but great things about Long Island the entire time. He cherishes them. He feels like he's a hero. And he's created his own reality, just like Brett did too. It's very, very similar. And what that does now is every time they go to Long Island, that's going to be must-see television because of MJF. That's what they did this past week. Or was it 2 weeks ago? I apologize. No, it was last week. Yeah, I mean, that Long Island show, I wish I was there. We were kicking the idea around of possibly going. But again, we're trying to build an empire on many, many fronts, not just the High Spots and Cheap Pops empire. Didn't have a chance to get to do it, but I really wish I did because being a part of that crowd was great because I actually have been and am a monster MJF fan. I always loved the heels since I was about 10 years old. Since Hulk Hogan dumped Sid Justice outside of the Royal Rumble, that's when. It was 1992. That's when I started loving the heels. So I was like 14. I was like, that's bullshit. Sid Justice just was doing whatever. Hogan had. That was bad job by Hogan, pulling Sid Justice out. Poor sportsmanship is what that was. So ever since then, I'm like, I kind of see where the heels are coming from. That's why you got to love like a guy like CM Punk, because even when he was a heel, you understood where he was coming from, because he spoke from an honest place. But anyways, MJF does too. And again, he is doing something revolutionary. I know CM Punk kind of poo-pooed that and said he was just a less famous Miz. But make no mistake, MJF is as talented and as perfect of a professional wrestler as I have ever seen in my life. I think he wins tonight. So those are our 3 big predictions. There's a bunch of other things going on tonight. And there's only 2 other matches at this point in time scheduled. We have Hikaru Shida versus Serena Deeb. I'm all in on Serena Deeb. And Hikaru Shida, they're having 2 phenomenal matches so far. I hope Serena gets put over here. I'm hoping she does. That's my pick. And then we have Wardlow versus Matt Sydal, which, whatever. But those are the only 4 matches scheduled. So there's going to be a lot of storyline work tonight, a lot of character work, a lot of promos and segments. It's not going to be 6 or 7 or 8 matches that we often see on Dynamite. So keep that in mind. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's not going to be professional. So don't go into this. First of all, Hangman and Bryan are going to get a half hour. At least, I would assume. Maybe 25 minutes. Serena Deeb, I mean, all 4 of those... Wardlow and Sydal will probably be about 3 or 4 minutes, I hope. Maybe 5 minutes. Give Sydal a little shine, but 5 minutes. Then MJF and Dante Martin, a good 10-minute match would be perfect. Don't need a lot there, just enough to tell a story. And then you have Serena Deeb and Shida, give them as much as they need. And then you have Bryan Danielson and Hangman, give them as much as they need. But that's only 4 matches. So do the math. You take away 20 minutes worth of commercials, say, give or take, for the 2 hours. Then you have those matches. Only one is capable of going a half hour out of that, and that's Hangman and Bryan Danielson. I don't think they'll do that on television, though. Maybe 25 minutes is what I'm thinking. Deeb and Shida might go 15. The other 2, I don't think they might go 15. So you got about 45 minutes, I would, just a rough guesstimate, of TV tonight that's not going to be entering wrestling. So that's something to keep an eye on tonight, folks. So don't go in there expecting top-notch wrestling all night. You're getting a lot of storylines. We're going to get a debut. It's exciting. Winter is coming is going to be big, folks. It's going to be exciting. I love storyline stuff. As long as it's done well, I love storyline stuff. I love character development. So this is going to be one of my favorite episodes of Dynamite because what have you. Now, they might throw a couple other matches that were signed late. There might be a couple filler matches here and there, but nothing that's going to take a significant amount of time. But who knows? Maybe there will be. But right now, the card is only listing as those 4. So it's going to be an exciting night. Some big things are happening. Please do your best to enjoy it. Like it. If you like it even more, hit subscribe. We really, really appreciate it. We're trying to build an empire here, and we want to give you the best, most impactful content we can for you professional wrestling fans. We're all in this together. We're fans too. I've been fortunate to be able to work in the business a little bit, but overall, we're all marks, and we want this business to continue to grow. And by the way, that means WWE too. It does mean that I want a good product out of WWE. I don't want them to release wrestlers because they fucked up and not honor the promises that they made. I want them to be good people. But just as I did with the Bryan Danielson and the Hangman storyline, I'm going to be honest at all times. And I'll shit on AEW if I feel like they deserve it. And frankly, I think they should have made Hangman look a lot better in the build for this match. That's all I got for you, though, guys. Absolutely love AEW. Super excited. Thank you, Tony Khan, Young Bucks, Cody, everybody who has made this, Kenny Omega, all of us fans. We're part of this. We're as a big part of this as anybody else. Keep and always remember that. We're helping change the world because we're proving that real professional wrestling is still a viable commodity in 2021. And in many respects, a more viable commodity than sports entertainment. For the Impaler, this is Silicon Steve Valli for High Spots and Cheap Pops. Please enjoy. Winter is coming tonight on TNT. AEW Dynamite. We're Daddy! Are we going to see Windham Rotunda? Oh, yeah! Thank you so much for watching High Spots and Cheap Pops. Winter is coming preview. You guys enjoy. Here endeth the lesson.